There's a question that's haunted the gaming world for more than a decade. Will there ever be a Half-Life 3? For years it felt like a myth, a meme even. But recently things have started to change. The rumors have gotten louder, the leaks have been more specific, and some insiders are claiming that the new Half-Life, known internally as HLX, is not just real, but nearly finished. To understand why this matters, we have to go back to Valve's own history. After Half-Life 2, Valve released episodes 1 and 2, hinting at a bigger story still to come, but episode 3 never showed up. At the time, Gabe Newell said he couldn't justify making another episode just to finish a cliffhanger. And eventually, Valve shifted focus. They made Half-Life Alyx a VR prequel, and spent years without officially addressing fans' hopes for a true Half-Life 3. That long silence only made the mystery more powerful, but now evidence suggests that Valve is working on something real. Insiders like Tyler McVicker have been mining new updates to Valve's games, Dota 2, Counter-Strike 2, Deadlock, and they keep finding code strings that point to a project called HLX. These aren't throwaway development notes. According to McVicker, many of the changes he's seeing are about optimization and polish, the kind of work that happens near the end of a game's development cycle. Things like AI behaviors, NPC reactiveness, dynamic navigation message, and even more advanced physics. All of it is consistent with a very serious modern AAA title. More concretely, McVicker claims that HLX is now playable end-to-end. There's active, widespread playtesting, including friends and family of Valve employees. He believes the core content and mechanics are locked in, and that what remains is refinement, balancing, and optimization. Crucially, this isn't a VR-only project like Alyx. McVicker argues that HLX is designed for traditional play, keyboards and mouse, or controller. That makes sense. Half-Life 2 has always been about pushing FPS storytelling forward, not just riding the VR wave. Still, none of this is officially confirmed by Valve. There's a lot of interpreting going on, and some claims remain speculative. For example, while datamine strings point to HLX, we can't be 100% certain that it will become Half-Life 3. As fans imagine it. Plus, insiders like McVicker and Gabe Follower have different degrees of access. There's always a possibility that things could shift. Projects get delayed, they get pivoted, or even shelved. And on the other hand, the volume and consistency of these leaks make a strong case. The fact that optimization work is being prioritized rather than creating entirely new features suggests Valve believes HLX is nearing a mature stage of sorts. And if McVicker is right about a possible announcement in the summer of 2025, newsflash, he wasn't, with the release in winter, that could line up with Valve's internal cycles. But beyond the technicals and the leaks, what's at stake is even more than just a game. Half-Life 3 would represent closure to many fans. It would be a legacy moment for Valve, a return to narrative-driven, physics-rich storytelling at a moment when so many studios focus on multiplayer, live service, or quick mobile experiences. And if HLX is the next Half-Life, it has the potential to push the medium again. Maybe not in the same way as the original or Half-Life 2, but combining modern tech and AI systems and refined designs in a way that few other games do. But aside from that question, an even bigger one grows. Do we even need it? And if Valve were to make it, what else might come along? Portal 3, maybe even Team Fortress 3. Because for longtime fans, the Half-Life story is unfinished. Half-Life 2 ended on a cliffhanger, episodes 1 and 2 teased but never delivered a resolution. A true Half-Life 3 could give us the payoff, finally tying together narrative threads they have been digging for years. That legacy alone is powerful. For many, it's not just another game, it could be the conclusion to a series that's beloved by everybody. And Valve has always pushed the medium. The original Half-Life reimagined narrative within a shooter. Half-Life 2 did the same with physics. Half-Life Alyx showed us how VR could reshape storytelling. If Valve makes another Half-Life, you can bet they don't want to just rehash what worked. They're likely betting on something that will push the boundaries again. Given the rumor that HLX and datamine code about AI, nav meshes, and polish, this could be more than just nostalgia. It could literally be the next-gen Half-Life. And Half-Life is more than just a franchise. As we know, it is part of a gaming's identity. A third game would be a statement, that Valve still believes in story-driven experiences in an era dominated by live service and multiplayer. For many fans, Half-Life 3 could restore a sense of hope that big, ambitious single-player games still matter, which is why the main theory about Half-Life 3 is if it doesn't get release at all this year, it's going to drop with the Steam machine. If they want it to be a true console killer and they drop Half-Life 3, it is over for the industry. Instant game of the year, I'll tell you that much. But like, as much as we love the Half-Life 3, we love the memes and everything, there's a strong counter argument. Because Valve is no longer the same company it was. And frankly, making Half-Life 3, just hear me out, it might not be worth the cost. Because one of Valve's biggest challenges is manpower. Gabe Newell himself has said that part of the reason we never saw Episode 3 was because they couldn't find a way to move things forward in a way that felt meaningful. Their structure is famously flat, and maybe projects are voluntary. People choose what to work on. That means big narrative sequels are risky, resource intensive, and not guaranteed to rally enough internal support. Which is why TF2 is the way it is. Team Fortress 2 is the way it is just because of how little people are willing to put their time and effort towards almost a 20-year-old game at this point. And there's also a philosophical argument. Do we really need the sequel if the existing games already made their mark perfectly? Some fans argue that Half-Life 2, especially with the episodes, already told the story it needed to tell, that adding more risks, tarnishing what made Half-Life legendary. A sequel for the sake of it could feel hollow. And on a business level, Valve might simply decide that pushing the platform and experimenting with other types of games gives more long-term return than another narrative blockbuster. Valve isn't just a games company, Steve is its backbone. But, however, I do believe that it is definitely in the works. And I do believe that Valve would definitely see that it could be really good. I think Gabe knows his audience. Gabe's know what we want, which is why he's making the Steam machine, which is why he's making the VR headset the way it is, which is why he's making the Steam controller the way it is, because he knows what gamers want, because he himself is a gamer. So I think that Half-Life 3 should take the time that it needs to become itself, to actually grow and instead of being rushed, because every time we rush a game that we want it out, it's never polished. Take Cyberpunk for example. Take No Man's Sky, for example. Every time that we've wanted this, now, and we rush the game developers, they push it, and it's shit. It's buggy, it's a mess, and it loses players. It loses the launch, and then by the time it is fixed in this amazing game, both are great games now, it's nothing of what it could have been. And if we need to, as a community, we need to stop making them drop it whenever we want to. Gabe and Valve, they need to take the time to make this exactly what they want as well as what we want. Because they know what we want. Because they made the first few games. They made all the other spin-offs, and we love each and every one of them, and they take that feedback and put it into the next game. But the thing is, when we talk about Half-Life 3, it is worth considering what else Valve could be working on, or what fans like me are hoping for. One of the second biggest one is Portal 3. It's been a recurring fan fantasy. Eric Woolpall, the co-writer for Portal 1 and 2, has publicly urged for a third game. But he also admits that his public calls are partly in jest because of Valve's quote-unquote flat structure. Means taking on a project like Portal 3 requires voluntary commitment from enough people internally. And according to him, Valve simply doesn't have a big enough team willing to drop their current work to build on a full-blown Portal 3. And then there's the creative risks. Some argue that Portal 2 already gave us a strong emotional arc, and that there's no reason or need to revisit it. Still, there are very few, but there are reports suggest Valve is prototyping puzzle mechanics, and an unannounced puzzle game in development since 2021 might be, or might lead to, Portal 3. Now this is important, because as I've said earlier, if we want Half-Life 3 to be innovative, they could be doing a thing where they finally connect the source games together that people have wanted. People have wanted the Gordon to meet Shell. People have wanted their Aperture Science to be mentioned in a Half-Life, or vice versa. And I think that could be a thing where we get Portal 3 and Half-Life 3 all basically mixed together. But if we're going to talk about Valve games, I think the biggest one that people are really concerned about is a Team Fortress 3. It's more speculative, of course. There's a rumored Proud project codenamed TF spotted in datamines Source 2 code. Some fans see it a hint towards TF3, but even those rumors come with caveats. Nothing so far to confirm it's a classic Team Fortress sequel, and given Valve's history, early projects often don't reach full release. But why would we want a TF3? Because obviously TF2 is beloved and it's aging, and some players imagine a third game could modernize the classic mechanics, map design, even introduce PvE, a better man versus machine on a large scale, while retaining that absurd chaotic charm. But on the flip side, I'm one of them. We don't really need a TF3. TF2 still works. It's still a great community, and a sequel might already risk with breaking good. The only two things I can see this being is if we had TF3, it'd be a story-driven game. It'd be like a multiplayer, I guess, yeah, PvE multiplayer. You go through the story, a co-op thing. That might be cool. We might, or maybe we play it as like not really a Team Fortress class, but like we play as the original Team Fortress. But that's just theories, obviously. And but what's most likely is probably the Deuce thing. What they did with CS2 is they're trying out a Source 2 engine of TF2 to try to update it, and they probably not going to do that because they already have so much players on this, and the switch over to that might kill it. So it's very very risky. But in conclusion, so when we ask, will there ever be a Half-Life 3? Part of that question should always be, should there be one? There's real power in the possibility for narrative resolution, for innovation, for reclaiming a legacy, but there's also real risks, there's real costs, there's internal constraints, and the fact that Valve might be better served exploring other ideas instead of following up on a ghost from the past. Portal 3 and TF3 aren't just side notes, they represent alternate future for Valve. If Valve is quietly working on HLX, then maybe there's some simultaneously weighing whether to revive Portal or reinvent TF in a modern way. At the end of the day, the mystery of Half-Life 3 isn't just about a missing game. It's about what Valve values now. Legacy, innovation, or in really survival. And maybe, just maybe, the fact that we're still asking the question means we haven't given up hope. It's hopium time, baby! Half-Life 3 tomorrow! Woo! If you enjoy this dive, hit like, subscribe, all the whole stuff for more deep takes on gaming's biggest mysteries. And tell me, do you think HLX is Half-Life 3, or hell, it could be something entirely else entirely? Half-Life fucking 2.5, whatever. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Please check out the Discord in the description. Follow, whatever, do the whole video stuff. Um, Check out my music at Yapsalato. And I will see y'all on the flip side. Peace.